There are three kinds of people in a neighborhood: the ones who mind their business, the ones who keep the peace, and the ones who pick fights with toddlers over birthday balloons. Guess which one Karen is? Collision. I still remember sitting at our kitchen table, tying pastel ribbons onto favor bags for my niece's first birthday, when I caught a glimpse of her, Karen, stationed on her porch like a paranoid hawk, phone in one hand, binoculars in the other. Yep, binoculars. Watching us prep for a kid's party like we were setting up for a drug deal. I should have known she'd be on high alert. Every time my family does anything slightly joyful, especially if it involves music, kids, or heaven forbid, a balloon arch, Karen loses it. And when I say family, I mean my big, beautiful, slightly chaotic Mexican-American family with generations under one roof. Me, my husband, our kids, and my in-laws. We don't party hard, but we do celebrate. And for some reason, that infuriates Karen more than potholes on a golf course. We've lived here for a few years now, and every single birthday has been a battle. One year, Karen called 911 because she heard kids violently hitting something in our yard. It was a piñata, full of candy, being cheerfully bashed by children under 10. The cops showed up confused, left laughing, and we still joke that Karen thinks Hershey's Kisses are evidence of a crime scene. Another year, she walked over mid-party to yell about the music being in Spanish. "This is America," she shouted. We didn't even respond. I just turned the volume up. If corridos scare her, she clearly wasn't ready for Bad Bunny. Last year, for the 4th of July, Karen escalated her tactics. We had a small family barbecue, a couple of sparklers for the kids. Nothing crazy. But Karen wasn't having it. She rolled out her garden hose like she was putting out a wildfire and blasted water across the street in our direction. Our fireworks fizzled, but our rage didn't. My husband wanted to confront her. I told him to let karma handle it. Turns out, karma's patient. I'm not. But the worst of it, 2 years ago, someone broke into our cars. We had camera footage, but not enough to catch the license plate. Karen's camera? A perfect angle. We could literally see it blinking in the footage. Metro Police knocked on her door, asking for the footage, and she told them to go suck an egg. Her words, not mine. We never got justice. She'd rather side with criminals than help her Hispanic neighbors. And yet, she still walks her tiny, rat-sized dog by our house every day, letting it poop on our driveway like it's her personal protest. Sometimes she gets extra close to the fence, just to rile up our pit bulls. She waits, hoping for a reaction, so she can play victim. Which brings us to this week. My niece is turning 1. We rented tables, chairs, a bounce house, and yes, a backyard tent. Because it's Vegas, it's 107 degrees, and no one wants a roasted toddler. Karen saw it all go down like she was watching a crime scene unfold. I literally watched her stare through binoculars while a man unloaded folding chairs from pickup. She even yelled at the delivery guy. "I'll be calling the police," she barked. He shrugged and said, "Okay, I'll tell them to bring more eyes for the party." If there's one thing I've learned, it's this. Some people aren't allergic to noise, they're allergic to joy. And joy is exactly what we brought that day, balloon. The day of the party arrived like a blessing wrapped in chaos. My mother-in-law was in full tamale prep mode by 6 a.m. My husband and his brothers were dragging coolers across the lawn, and every kid in the house was already bouncing off the walls even before the actual bounce house was inflated. But you could feel in the air Karen was about to pop. The music started around 11. Not loud, just upbeat. The kids were running around in their party dresses and superhero shirts, tugging at balloons, high on sugar and joy. My niece was being passed around like the crown jewel she was, cooing in her frilly pink dress. Then came the first wave of the Karen storm. Right after lunch, a black and white cruiser slowly pulled up. Everyone froze. Even the DJ lowered the volume like he was defusing a bomb. The officer stepped out looking sheepish. Got a noise complaint, he said, almost apologetically. But honestly, this doesn't look like what we were told. What were you told? I asked. He pulled out a notebook. Aggressive gang activity, illegal fireworks, threatening behavior. I just blinked. The guy looked over at the giant inflatable Peppa Pig in the yard. Yeah, I'm gonna log this as a false report. He waved to the kids, grabbed a tamale on his way out. No joke, and left. About 30 minutes later, as my brother-in-law was setting up the cake table outside, Karen marched across the street like she owned the asphalt. This tent is a fire hazard, she shouted. It's obstructing the view of MY House. My sister-in-law, who has zero filter, just went, then close your eyes. Karen started filming us with her phone. You people and your illegal setups. This is why neighborhoods go downhill. Oh yeah, she said, you people. My husband had to physically step between her and the toddlers before things escalated. I stayed calm, not because I wanted to, but because my niece's name was spelled in frosting and I wasn't about to let Karen ruin that moment. She stormed off, fuming. But I knew she wasn't done. Around 5 p.m., as we were lighting candles and gathering everyone for cake, 3 police cars pulled up. This time, they came fast and serious. Karen had made another call, this time claiming we were running an unlicensed daycare and endangering children with unsafe equipment. She even tried to convince them we were illegally housing farm animals. It was a llama-shaped balloon, but something changed when the lead officer saw the address. He walked up and asked, "Is this for Maria's birthday?" I nodded slowly. He cracked a smile. "My niece goes to daycare with your cousin. She said she was invited." Karen was standing behind him, arms crossed like a bitter scarecrow. "Ma'am," he said, turning to her, "you filed 6 false reports in 2 years. If this continues, we'll have to issue a citation for misuse of emergency services." Her jaw dropped. "You can't threaten me. I pay taxes," she screamed. "And I eat cake," the officer replied, then looked at us. "Is there any left?" We gave him 2 slices. After the police left, Karen didn't show her face again. Not that night. Not the next day. Not even when we wheeled the bounce house away. We partied until the kids passed out, high on frosting and joy. As for Karen, the next week, she had a giant for sale sign on her lawn. I guess she couldn't handle the vibrancy of our lives. Or maybe she realized you can't fight love with noise complaints. Either way, she lost. They say some neighbors become friends, and some become family. But others? Others become stories you'll tell for the rest of your life. Stories T.